Hello. Well, she wants another treat. That's why you have to keep it up. Everybody's waking up. All right. Pitchfork. All right, part of our morning chores is to come out every morning and milk this little girl. And we've been doing it twice a day because she doesn't have a calf that we thought she was going to have to help her with milk sharing. So, to help us with milk sharing, that's right. So, previously, Erin and my daughter were milking her by hand, which was quite the chore. And we ended up getting a milker, an easy milker, which has been literally a godsend. It's not, I wouldn't call it cheap, but it's priceless for what it's been able to help us do in a short period of time. So how long was it taking you to milk this cow?
Not very good at it, so it was taking us 45 minutes, hands on the udder.
By hand. Now, in all fairness, she's got some odd shaped udders in the rear end there. Yeah, her teeth, she's got a teeth that's kind of bad. Can you pull the wagon over here a little further? So, got to pull this bad boy in. I'm going to try to do it with one hand. All right, so you can see it is pretty chilly out here right now. The water keeps freezing up and breaking up. It's about 22 out here. So this is our milking wagon, which is actually pretty handy to truck stuff from the area where we actually process the milk, clean the tools and implements, and then we bring it out here twice a day. Right now we've been doing 8 o'clock each morning to keep her on a consistent schedule. And on top of that, we've been dealing with the fact that young Miss Evergreen here has had ketosis. So we've been medicating her too with what? Propylene glycol. And checking her ketone levels. And it's been, well, since the new year, so almost a month now where we've been dealing with this. And today was the first day that she actually had a negative ketone reading, which is fantastic. So right now Erin is washing the teats off with some warm, mild soapy water. And while she's doing that, we take a look at what we actually have for the, so we have the the compressor. It's right here. It's got a gauge on it, right? We want to, they have some warnings where to keep the pressure. We try to keep it right around 300 is where I try to keep it. And you can adjust it with this knurled knob right here. And then you got the vacuum hose, you got a particulate filter, you got an overflow container so you don't actually suck milk back into the machine, which is fantastic. That way you don't damage your compressor. And then you got your vacuum hose that goes to this stainless steel bucket. Now you can get these in 2.5 gallons and 5 gallons, I believe. And the nice thing is you can do all 4 teats at once. The reason for the different colors of connections is you can get small, medium, and larges depending on the size of the teat of your animal. So you can even use this to do horses. You can use this to do, goats. Obviously, we're just using it to do cows right now. So she does have what we call her wonky teat, which has basically got 2 orifices in it. It's a little bit larger, kind of an abnormal application there, but it does work for what we're trying to do. So after Erin gets the teats all cleaned off, and we'll get started here. Typically takes, Erin was saying 40 some odd minutes to milk by hand. We've done her in about between 5 and 6 minutes with the machine. So the easy milker is actually pretty darn easy, and it's easy in more than one way than you might think. The cleanup is pretty straightforward and simple too. So no complications there. So all right, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and activate the pump here, and there's a little button on the side. Now what I will say is sometimes if you don't get pressure, if this is not starting to read pressure, go ahead and push down on the lid right there. There's a gasket on the lid, help kind of get that vacuum started. So, and it's not very loud. So you can see, might take a look at pressure. Erin's pressing down on the lid, and now you can see it finally starting to move some. So now she can let off, and she's going to take the first. So before she does that, I'm going to make sure this is adjusted properly. So the pressure, my assumption is to protect the animal. You don't want to actually hurt the animal and overstrain or put too much pressure on those teats, because that would be pretty sensitive. So keep right around 300. And so she's going to start with the rear one first. Evergreen's pretty good about standing still for all this. And so why don't you explain what you're doing?
I'm just positioning it, and then I'm going to open up the valve to create the suction. And then milk
You can
started
see
flowing right
the
away.
milk start to flow. So I'm going to go ahead and check the gauge real quick here, because we want to make sure that we're consistent. As she opens up each hose, it'll have an effect on the pressure. So I'm going to go ahead and close this a little bit, try to keep it near that 300 mark. And you can see the milk is starting to flow in. And this doesn't use like any sort of pulse method that we can tell. It's just a constant running pump. Okay. One thing I didn't say too, she kind of primes Evergreen before she puts these on. Get some of that floor milk out.
Just to clean bacteria out.
Yeah, that too.
I need to switch this.
Okay, so she's gonna pull this one off and actually go to a larger size? Medium size. There we go. You can see these are flowing. It's got this cool little hook on it. It's good for a few things. It's good for holding these when they're not in use, and you can actually hang this up when you're cleaning it. So go back to our gauge. And Evergreen, you can see she just sits there, chews her cud, doesn't really care so much. She's a really good cow. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. You probably don't want to sit here and hang out for the entire thing, but once we're done, we'll pick back up and we will move on to the next step. All right, it's been approximately 5 minutes or so, and we are starting to, you see some of them are, like this one right here, is starting to get less milk. So Erin's going to start stripping this off. So what are you doing now?
As I'm milking, I just stay down here. I'm keeping her leg from picking up and picking off anything if it pulls funny, which I learned the hard way. And I just gently bunt up on her udder from time to time, which is what a calf does. It helps her let down. And then as the teats start to finish off, I just gently pull down, which is going to strip out the teats. And that's twofold reasoning. One, that's the richest, creamiest milk. And two, when you strip them out, it just gets everything out of there, and it's supposed to be beneficial for preventing mastitis, which is an infection. And then as they stop dripping, as I'm just gently pulling, then I'll close the valve and release the suction at the top of the teat, and then remove the cup.
And the valves she's talking about are actually down there underneath her wrist. So they're just simple plastic clips that will pinch off the vacuum, but yet maintain the vacuum inside the container. So right now Evergreen's giving approximately 4 1/4, 4.5 gallons a day, approximately, give or take. All right, things are definitely slowing down. All right, so how are you gonna get these guys off?
I'm just being patient with this part, and then
You still want to make sure we monitor this. So I'm going to bring this down just a little bit. Get near that 300 mark. We don't want to exceed 310. They actually have a warning on here. Do not exceed 310. So try to keep it in approximately the right location. All right. So you close each valve. she's doing that, I'm going to be monitoring the gauge here.
Normally, on weekday mornings you're at work, so our 10-year-old son comes out and runs the machine.
That's right.
I ran the machine, and I was okay and comfortable doing it, but at first,
You can see you can just drop those right there. It's nice and convenient on that hook. So this is where it's important to watch the pressure, because as she's closing off each hose, it's actually increasing the pressure in the remaining hoses. So just keep an eye on that. You can see Evergreen's just kind of chilling. She gets a treat afterwards, so I think that's what she's waiting for. You can just pinch right above the top of the teat, and it'll come right off. All right. So with that, we'll go ahead and turn off the machine. Relieve the pressure. But yeah, it's not too loud. And then, well, we're not going to open it up in the barn, but we'll go ahead and take it inside and go from there. Okay, right now Erin is finishing up with Evergreen. We are back in our home. We are blessed to have a separate little kitchenette in our home that we use as a guest area. That being said, we also use it as our milk processing area. It's a nice way to keep this separate from the actual main kitchen, and you know, little kids can stay out of here and things of that nature. So while we're waiting on her, we're going to go ahead and kind of show you again the basics of this system while it's actually out of our milking wagon. So again, here's the pump. It kind of gives you the model number and things of that nature. Heck, looks like you can even milk a camel. Anyone got any camels to milk? Looks like the icon says you can milk a camel. Very cool. Anyway, no camels here, just cows and some goats. So again, you get an idea of this is the overflow. So if this gets too high, which will happen, especially when you clean it, it'll get too high sometimes, and you'll get a little bit of soapy water. It'll come down here. Well, it gets trapped right here. So there's actually inside, you can see right there, that's a float switch, right? So if that actually activates, it will kill the pump. Now that brings up a good point. Originally, when I was playing with this got activated and I didn't know it because I turned it upside down when I was assembling it. Well, the float switch got stuck up here and then my pump wouldn't turn on. So I was kind of like, what the heck's going on? Brand new pump won't go on. Well, float switch, right? So if it doesn't activate, that's one problem, potentially, float switch. Two, if you have pressure still built up in this, if you have not relieved the pressure and there's still pressure on this gauge, this pump will struggle to start. Found that out inadvertently. We were cleaning it the other day and the pressure got left in it, and we tried to turn it back on and it wouldn't start. And let me say, Erin was a bit shocked at first because she thought she was going to go back to milking by hand. Turns out it was just the pressure. So make sure your pressure gauge is at 0 if you're going to try to start this bad boy back up. But other than that, again, it's a pretty simple system. I haven't noticed any particulates getting filtered or any particulates building up in here. There are spare parts you can buy for this online that I will probably go and buy a few more connections and hoses just to make sure, right? Because you don't want to be SOL if this thing goes down. There's also a battery pack you can buy where you hook up like, a DeWalt battery or Milwaukee battery, whatever, to it to give you the ability, if you need to take this thing someplace remote, out in the middle of pasture, I guess, I don't know if that's where you're milking, and you don't have access to power. Not really an issue for us. If we do lose power, a whole generator over there will milk her using this on the generator. So, and I should also be very clear too, we don't have any affiliation with Easy Animal Products. We're just customers. And when we originally bought this, we bought it at the referral of another friend of ours who actually sold us her jersey. And we actually had a chance to talk to Buck. And he is the inventor of this product. Super, super cool guy. Pretty amazing life story. And he's been doing this a long time. So Erin just got back. What'd you just do there, kiddo? So she just unhooked the vacuum hose. She's going to work right away without even talking to me. And she's pulling off the lid. All right, so that's all of the bovine brew. There is, you know, we do strain it. Sometimes you do get a little bit of floater or something in there that actually made it past the particulate filter. I'm not sure how that actually happened. It could have also been something.
Is there a filter in there?
There is. There's a little particulate filter, well, right here.
But that's...
Yeah, that's just for the air.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I guess that doesn't filter what goes into here. So we do strain it. This looks like a little stick. So we're gonna go ahead and strain this. This is for, you know, pretty much our consumption. We're not, you know, a commercial freaking farm, you know, putting this on the grocery store shelves. So, you know,
we made like, I haven't measured yet, but like 40, 50, 60 ounces of butter yesterday.
And how much mozzarella?
A lot of mozzarella.
Yeah. There's a lot you can do with milk. Again, we don't drink a lot of milk per se. The kids do, but we don't really drink it. But the kids like making milk, or I said butter, ice cream. We've got a little ice cream gelato maker, and they like making mozzarella cheese. It goes into baking. The animals love it. So the dogs love it. The cats love it. So it doesn't go to waste for sure. But all right, so she's getting ready to go ahead and strain this. And she's going to do this one-handed. Normally I help her, but I can't do this and filter for her at the same time. So, and these are just half-gallon jars. When we get to cleaning this thing, it's really pretty easy, no pun intended. So we'll go ahead and rinse that off.
Well, there actually was something in there, and that's probably because there was just something on her teeth that I didn't see.
Oh, okay.
When I was wiping her off.
Yeah, definitely you have to wipe those teats off every time. You know, cows lay down and stuff that you don't want in your milk for sure. So,
this is definitely, in addition to being faster than hand milking, certainly a lot more sanitary than hand milking.
except your hands don't get buff.
Yeah.
But the time saver alone on this is, I mean, even when you throw in cleaning, it's a fraction of the time that it would take to do this by hand.
And I was still washing at least 4 buckets every time we milked. So it's not like this is not causing me any more.
Right.
It's actually saving me time on washing up as well as saving me. So it's saving me probably hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes a day.
Right. Yeah, because we're doing this twice a day. And before you showed up, I was telling them about when this still had pressure in it, it wouldn't turn on, and you were a little concerned about having to go back to milking by hand.
Yeah. I want to get the power pack for in case of emergencies.
We have a generator. We're good to go there. See, this whole area down here, when it's not being used for, you know, hosting guests, is pretty much for doing milk, doing bread. Apparently, Erin also has some science experiments down here. It's actually kombucha, which is her deal, not mine. Looks like something out of a horror movie.
And there's just like a teeny tiny bit left, so I'm gonna dump it in with the chicken
Okay,
feed.
so we got 2 full gallons and a little bit extra, and that's going to go to the chickens, which is great. So we try not to let anything go to waste out here. It's just too costly. So what are we going to do to clean this?
Just rinsing my jars off. So I'm gonna pop the lid back on. Excuse me.
You doing okay there?
Okay.
So rinse everything off real quick. Just a lid. You want to do the inside too?
Yes, I do. Let me pause that.
This is called life. Okay, so got that rinsed out. We're gonna pop the lid back on. This top piece. So if your lid won't seal, which is, we had a little bit of an issue with that, you can kind of bend this piece a little bit up, which will require that this handle puts pressure down on here to get more of a seal. So we're going to take the vacuum pump, connect that, and then we're going to turn this thing on the same way we would when we were milking a cow. So Aaron has put in a little bit of what?
Just Dawn.
A little bit of Dawn, not a ton, a little bit of Dawn in here. One thing you don't want to use bleach. Bleach is will actually eat away at the insides of these hoses and things of that nature, so we don't want to use bleach. We'll also finish off with vinegar. So we're going to turn this on and go ahead and push down on here. Yeah, it tries to come up to pressure. All right, cool. So really we're just going to fill this bucket up with soapy water, wait till it gets kind of close to the top, open up the valves, it'll suck up that water, and easy peasy. So not a whole lot to it. And you can never have too many jars. All right, she's gonna go ahead and release those. There we go. All right. Get that warm water running through it. Gonna go ahead and adjust my pressure. Not sure you really have to do it on when it's not hooked up to the animal, but just have it. Go ahead and turn that down for a little bit. You'll see how fast it sucks the water down. So, in a sense, it's kind of what the cow's going through. So once those are all taken care of, we're going to go ahead and hit the clamps, close everything off, turn the pump off, release the pressure, and then we're going to go ahead and unplug this and do that. Now you can see soapy water. So we just had a munchkin join us.
Hi.
All right.
What's he? Yeah, he was on your toe.
So just getting all the soap out of it. Pretty easy squeezy. Okay, so we're going to go through this cycle one more time, and this time we're going to do the vinegar. Go ahead and turn the generator back on. And everyone wants to get fed now, so we have the animals that we got to milk in the morning, and then we have the other animals, i.e. our children, that we have to feed as well. All right, so just wait till this fills up. Aaron, how much vinegar did you put in there?
Just a splash.
A splash of vinegar.
Quarter cup maybe.
Quarter
max.
cup. Yeah. All right, go ahead and release those guys. And you can see in this vacuum hose, there is some condensation that gets built up in here, and that's okay. You know, that's why we have this guy here. And we will rinse this out every single time. It's not a big deal. I mean, there's nothing that's from here that's going to be going into the milk, but it's nice to kind of keep clean. The system does come with some tools, like here's one of them. If you ever want to clean your hoses more thoroughly than running running the vinegar through them, you can. And I would suggest, again, as I said before, buying some spare parts. We're going to be buying at least one extra hose, a couple extra hose clamps, probably even a spare vacuum hose. All right, we're done there. We're going to go ahead and release the pressure because spare parts are key. You don't want to be knocked out of operation. So, all right. So we're going to go ahead and hang this up. Oops. After we rinse it off. So all we do is we go ahead and open up an upper door. It actually doesn't have anything in there. And then Aaron can go ahead and use that hook, hang it up there like an octopus, quadrupus, I should say. 4, whatever. And then, and then just drop them into the dish dryer. So we're getting really close to being actually complete. I'll actually go ahead and undo the vacuum hose, and we'll hang the vacuum hose up as well to let some of that condensation drain out. Also use clean towels for cleaning. So we're going to use a towel that hasn't been used for anything else, and we're going to go ahead and wipe off the inside there. Go ahead and unplug this bad boy. There's actually a little loop in here to keep your cord organized. Just kind of a nice touch. Do this one-handed, and you get the idea. You can keep everything organized. I like to say organized. All right. So this does come off as well. See if I can do that one-handed, and we can go ahead and take that off if we need to. And so good. So that's basically it. That's basically the Easy Animal Products Easy Milker, and from kind of start to finish. So hope you got something out of this video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.